I am Mightykeef.
I think it's time. Close that damn door. Yeah. I like my doors closed around here when I talk about next gen gaming. Now, unless you're living under a rock, you already know what this week means to gamers all over the world. Next gen consoles drop this week. Next gen gaming happens this week. November comes with it a plethora, however you want to pronounce it. It comes with so many different games for the next gen console, right? And you can have this argument of, well, I can get some of these games for the old console. Why the hell would you do that? When you have a strictly better option, why choose the lesser version? Are you broke? Ew, I hate broke people. But you know what? Let's just say you haven't gotten the new consoles on pre-order, right? Let's say you're still on the fence. Let's say you just want to know a little bit more. Mightykeef's got you. We're gonna check out the Xbox Series S today, like actual analysis. You know, I had an unboxing and that was great, but now I want to get into the UI. Now I want to get into the specs a little bit, the games. I want to give y'all my honest opinion of how I feel about this next gen.
This is not going to be the Series X. This is not going to be as powerful. This is the budget next gen. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. 512 gigabyte solid state drive, up to 120 frames per second, Xbox Velocity architecture, high dynamic range. And then you go down here, you got your tech specs, right? That's 8 core, 3.6 gigahertz processor, 4 teraflops, of GPU, right? The Xbox Series X has like 12 or 13 teraflops. So that should give you an idea of just how much less power this is going to have. But you're also spending $200-300 less getting the console. So that's why I said this is more for the, hey, I got a life, can't be spending all that money on games anymore, or I wanted to try next gen, but I don't have the time to really invest in a big TV that's gonna give me all this 4K. Let me just get something that's like really small, right? Something, like I said, 440p or something like that. 1440p, Memory storage, 10 gigabytes, GDDR6, 128-bit wide bus. All right, you can see, the memory bandwidth. I'll get into that a little later. That is crazy. Of course, we already said the SSD, video capabilities, 1440p. This is what I was trying to get people to understand, because people were trying to judge this as if this was a 4K resolution gaming. It's not true 4K. It's pretty damn nice. I'll be honest, 1440p is nothing to be upset about, but it's not true 4K. And we're gonna get into that a little bit later when I get into that UI and whatnot. And then you got your sound, your Dolby Digital 5.1, got the ports, we already showed that, and this is design, cool. So we've got the specs out the way, right? So let's get into the real review. And what's better to start the display with when you go to the home screen? Look at it. Look at this UI. Huh? Now in the background you see it's a bunch of little green, the patented Xbox spiraling line stuff, but really you can kind of change that whenever you want. I forgot exactly where you can go, but here's where the games are. As you can see, I've been on a little bit of an install spree. I've been going around just finding all games and whatnot because of this one shining thing that Xbox has, the Game Pass. That's it. That's what everybody leans on when they talk about Microsoft, when they talk about gaming. And the Xbox Series S and X, well, I can't, like I said, I can't speak for X, but for S, I will be honest, this library is kind of impressive. It's actually kind of dope. Now, for people who have like already had Xboxes, I haven't had an Xbox since the 360. And I got the red one. That was like the first one I got. So that was like when, I want to say, Resident Evil 5 came out. So it was a little late. I got my 360 a little late in the day. But I mean, this library is actually ridiculous. I'll be completely honest. I haven't seen something like this before. the Xbox Game Pass. I decided to get it, you know, so I can get a good full review. And I mean, these are a lot of games that I've wanted to play that they have up there. Now I'm gonna give my likes and dislikes about this whole system. I have free reign to say what I want and how I feel. I want y'all to know that. This is where you go for your games and your installation, and I'm sure you can see on that bottom left that storage space. Let's go and talk about that, because good Lord, this thing ain't got no storage. I'll be completely honest. We said it earlier, it's 512 gigabytes, and honestly, you don't even get that. You get like 4 something and change. It might even be 3 something and change. Now, that's not a hit on Microsoft or excuse me, Xbox, because it usually is like that when it comes to memory, right? On PC, you don't really usually get the hard drive space it advertises, right? On the SSD or HDD or even RAM. You don't really get the stuff on other consoles. It's usually a little bit less than what they advertise. I don't know why. I don't know the technical reason why. I'm assuming it's because they have to install like what's it called, software space. I don't know, but I mean, you know, I got 8 games installed right here. These aren't too crazy, and I still got 80% left. I mean, Destiny's over 100 gigabytes. Valhalla's close to 40, I want to say. Legion's close to 40. I mean, you know, you'll have some games up there, and some people, the storage isn't really that big of a deal, because some people play 1 to 2 games at a time, delete those games, and then just download other games. If you're that type of person, this 512 is perfect for you, because you like I said, you can have, you know, a decent amount of games already installed. These are all installed, by the way. You can have some installed and be good. This I believe goes up to 1440p, but for whatever reason, it still talks about things like 4K. I didn't really understand that, because when you go to this, right, I'm on a monitor right now, so I'm on like a computer monitor, so I'm not gonna have the what it's looking for in terms of the TV. The TV's out in my living room. But basically, when you click on this, depending upon whatever monitor or TV you have, you're gonna want all these to show up green. You're gonna want all of these to show up green. Like I said, on this monitor, it's not, because this is a little bit of old one. But this isn't like, it's cool that they have something like that kind of gives you details on what your monitor is and is not capable of, and how that's going to impact how you view the game. Like I said, I do not have an Xbox Series X, but I'm assuming it's the exact same. And then here's resolutions. Just because of my display it says 1080 and 720p, but on the one you would want to play this with, it's going to also say 4K up there, and then I believe it'll also have 1440p as your resolution. So that's something you'll be happy about. This background you can change. I just haven't changed it myself. But basically, you can go to your settings, and then you personalization, and then you have your own color background, theme, and motion. You can play around with it a lot. It's actually, I don't want to schedule anything actually. Smooth transitions, or why wouldn't you have that on smooth? Oh, it's still green. Did I not do it right? What if I hit OK? Oh, okay, there we go. So now you see it's all like blue. All the lines are blue. Ah, all right. So the background's also blue. That's interesting. All right, so we'll start it up. This is Gears Tactics. So I'll hit continue, and let's see how long it takes to get from point A to point B. Oh, we're in the game. Well, okay. Characters. Damn characters. Oh, here we go. That was not long at all. Awesome. I guess you could consider this a negative, is again the memory. Now, again, it's hard for me to really nitpick this one, because this is the cheaper option, right? This isn't the fully visioned next gen console. This is the budget console. This is the, you know what I'm saying, I got bills to pay console. So it's hard for me to really knock this, because even though it doesn't have all the bells and whistles as the Series X, this is also cheaper, so it's hard. But I will say, I think it could use more than 512 gigabytes. As I said previously, though, if you're those type of people who are just like, I play 1-2 games at a time, delete them, and just install new ones, then you're good. You ain't got nothing to worry about. But for other people who are just like, I kind of wish I had a little bit more room. It's 512. You're really getting like maybe 400 gigabytes to work with when you start this game up. And these new gen games are starting to be like 50 gigabytes and above. You do the math. You're not gonna have too many at a time on here. But luckily, there is, as I showed earlier, an extra storage space on the back of the Series S. And as far as I know, you can just boot up the games from that. So maybe that issue could be alleviated. One thing I didn't mention earlier, I wanted to point this out, was that this thing, it doesn't make a noise. Like, it doesn't. And it's kind of crazy. I don't hear anything from it. And while I'm playing, I'm a good, 5-6 feet away from it. And I don't hear anything, ever. No fans blowing, no nothing. I'm assuming if you go really close to it, you'll start to hear stuff. It doesn't ever feel like it overheats. I mean, it hasn't bricked. I know Xbox used to be the red ring of death or something like that. I remember they used to be pretty infamous about that. But I have not had any issues with this thing at all. So as a guy coming back to Xbox after being gone for so many years, I appreciate that. I do. But overall, bro, I'll be honest, it's for the affordable gamer. That's it. If you are a person who's like, I'm trying to figure out what next gen's all about, I need the top of the top. Do not get this, because you're going to be very upset, because it's not going to have that real 4K that you're looking for. And it's not going to be like, it's fast though. It definitely feels like it's almost as fast as the X, which is odd. Graphically though, it is not next gen. This is like that in between, right? This is that transition. This is that trial. Maybe you're not a gamer that needs the full effects of this has HDR on it, but like maybe you don't need the full effects of the 4K that X has. But this is still very good. This is definitely better than an Xbox One S, the previous stuff. This is next gen, but it ain't next gen like the X is. But yeah, I like it. I enjoy it. And I'm just really happy. This week is gonna be amazing. We're gonna be getting a lot of games, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review I have. I got some other stuff coming up in terms of, games. We got so much coming out. Like so many different games are coming up from so many different consoles on Gen. Demon Souls, everything's coming up. So guys, stay tuned. It's gonna be a fun week.
Or that's just crazy.